While working with toddlers as an occupational therapist, as well as having successfully potty trained my own 2 kids, I see parents falling into 5 common mistakes that make the entire process of potty training so much longer. The first one is not getting rid of diapers. Look, I understand the idea of having your child wet your floor or drop a number 2 on your couch is horrifying. But in order for our children to learn to use the toilet, they have to feel what it feels like in their body to need the toilet. When we have them in these highly absorbent diapers, they never actually learn what that feeling of being wet is. So we need to get rid of the diapers as well as the pull-ups and really let them feel what it means to be wet in order for them to learn to go to the bathroom. I am just editing this video and I realized that there was something really important that I forgot to mention. Toilet training, potty training, like all of the skills that we pass on to our children doesn't always feel like something that we've got. Like it doesn't always feel something that we're really confident in as we start doing it. It always, on the other side, for me at least, as a parent and having worked with other children that have been potty trained, I always feel on the other side like, man, that was so much easier than what I thought it would be. And yes, there'll be funny moments and yes, there'll be mess, but you are the parent, you know how to train your child in this, and you really will get to the other side. And with that, let's get back into the mistakes that you don't want to make when you're there. Too much hype. The sweets, the snaps, the dances. Look, I get it. Potty training is something exciting for us and for our children. It's something that we want to be proud of, and it really is a big milestone. But when we hype this up too much, what we do is actually cause more anxiety for our children around going to the bathroom. Research is pretty divided on whether using rewards is an effective way to teach our children to be independent. On one hand, there is research supporting that this does encourage the learning of a new skill, but on the other hand, there's the idea that it can create too much dependence on the reward instead of the fulfillment of actually learning this new skill of independence. In my experience, it's not a make or break issue to toilet learning. What I would say is that if you are choosing to use rewards, make them sustainable and realistic. So think about maybe a little bit of juice after they've used the potty instead of a whole Happy Meal. And just like any gimmicks that you've seen around the toilet learning or potty training process, like those water drops that make the water change color when your child goes to the toilet, just keep in the back of your mind that these things are very temporary, and we're going to be wanting to wean our child off of any kind of gimmicks in order for them to become actually independent in going to the bathroom by themselves. Black and white thinking. Learning to use the toilet and becoming independent in toileting is not a 3-day one and done event. It is a process. You can expect that there will be many milestones, even small ones, along the process of learning to use the bathroom. While you may make big strides in those first 3 days of potty training, you want to consider the milestones along a spectrum of time. So yes, making it to the bathroom when you need the toilet is a great little milestone to achieve. Then we're wanting to move them up to being able to go to the bathroom without reminding, then being able to go on a long car ride without needing a diaper, then being able to poop in the potty, it's another milestone, as well as being able to maintain dry underwear for the entire day. Each of these is a process, and they're not going to happen just because we've told our child one time to go to the bathroom. So expect it to be a process and not a black and white one and done. Missing the opportunity for teaching. When your child wets the floor, and they will wet the floor, that is exactly the moment that we want to be stepping in, really tempering our responses and giving our child good feedback that directs them towards this understanding of being able to use the bathroom. But the biggest mistake I see parents making over and over again is starting and stopping. When I first potty trained my youngest, I remember the parents around me being so overwhelmed with the amount of information and different methods that there are for potty training, from Montessori sensitive periods to elimination communication to signs of readiness. It can be really hard to decide when is a good fit for our family to start potty training. Now, what I see happening time and time again is that a parent sees some information about early potty training, starts a potty training process with their child. Halfway through, they see that this actually requires a lot lot of parent time because the child is still very young, it's still very dependent on the parent. So what they end up doing is stopping halfway, a few months down the line, feeling a bit of regret, deciding a new method to starting, the same thing happens. And this lands up with me seeing children that are age 2 and already have been through 5 different seasons or methods of potty training. Not only does this cause a lot of confusion for the child around what it means to use the bathroom, but it also causes a lot of stress within the family and within the home around using the toilet. Using the bathroom and learning to be independent in toileting is a really good and natural thing that our children can learn. So we want to encourage an environment that supports that. How we get started with potty training is firstly by looking at the calendar. That is the first step. So I want you to do that. Go and look at your calendar. Where do you have time? I want you to look for 3 days that you can be home. We call these the naked days, where we are from the bottom downwards, not wearing clothes. So ideally it's best if it can be in the summer. And these 3 days, we just learn about what it is to mess, and that means that we need to use the bathroom. Then I want you to look after those 3 days for a 2-week period where there's no big life changes happening, no starting preschool, no siblings being born, no big events, and also no long travel happening in those 2 weeks. And on those 2 weeks, we're going to be really adding potty training to our mental to-do list. It's something that we're going to be reminding our child about. It's something that we're going to be actively practicing, but we need to have those 2 weeks where there's not any big life changes happening that might upset the momentum of learning to use the bathroom. Now, once you've marked that in your calendar, you need to gather your supplies. As I said in the beginning, I like for children to go absolutely naked so that they can really feel what it is to mess and they feel that they're not in a diaper. But after that, you want to get them some cute little underwear. There are also some underwear that I'll link below that have a bit of padding in them. So while they still do get wet and your child will still be learning the wetness, unlike a diaper or pull-up, they are catching a little bit of the mess before it lands on the floor, which can be helpful. I personally do like to use a potty to start out with because it's a nice low surface for a child to learn. And like this one, you just lift up the seat and you can throw away whatever was in there. But if you want to move straight to using a toilet, I would recommend that you get a seat like this, a seat cover. This you're going to put straight onto the toilet to just give your child a little bit more space to sit firmly, as well as a good solid step. We want them to feel confident, like this one, and not off balance at all when they are sitting on the toilet. So we definitely need that seat and that step. The third thing that we're going to want to do is before we even start potty training, because our children are really young and they're still learning about the world, we want to kind of build a frame of reference for them about what this toileting thing is so that they can understand a little bit beforehand of the processes. This is going to ease their anxiety and it's just going to give them so much more confidence in the process. We often like to read our children stories about big events that are happening, and it's the best way we can do this is if we personalize those stories. So I have for you down below a freebie of a social story which you can fill in your child's name, and it just walks them through that process of using the bathroom, and it's a really great way to build that framework. You can grab that in the freebie down below. Another way to build the framework is by having an open door policy in your home. So if you have older siblings or cousins, or even for yourself, letting your toddler have a little squiz on what's going on when people go to the bathroom can be really, really helpful. With my eldest, he saw a friend that was, I think, a year older on a play date. I think we were outdoors and he weed on a tree, and that really helped my child to let the penny drop in terms of building that framework and understanding what going to the bathroom not in a diaper means. And as we start potty training, and there is mess and there will be mess, I want you to really focus in on teaching during those times. You might say something to your child when they wet the floor like, "Oh, it came out before you got to the toilet this time." Next time when you feel that feeling in your tummy that says you need the toilet, let's run together to the bathroom and do it in the potty. And you can even get some paper and let them help you clean up that mess. Now, if messy floors are something that you are dealing with on a daily basis with your toddler, make sure to go and check out the next video, which is on your screen now. It is all about helping our children to stop or move through that phase of spilling out water. I'll see you over there.